we learn about the blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage of the lateral nasal wall. So you might be saying, sir has not changed the diagram itself. Yes, there are very small changes here. Although we can see the concus present here, but I have not drawn the concus to keep the diagram clear. And in the posterior aspect, we have got the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone. Okay. So now again, the lateral nasal wall can also be divided into 4 quadrants: the antero-superior, antero-inferior, posterior-superior, and posterior-inferior quadrants. And the blood supply, nerve supply also remains in the same way. Each quadrant supplied by one artery. The antero-superior quadrant, as in case of nasal septum, supplied by the anterior ethmoidal artery, and some books say that it can also be supplemented by the posterior ethmoidal artery. Both are the branches from the ophthalmic artery. The antero-inferior quadrant, it is supplied again by these branches from the superior labial artery, which is again a branch from the facial artery. A slight change in the posterior-superior and the posterior-inferior. The posterior-superior quadrant, it is also supplied by the arteries branches from the sphenopalatine, but the branches will not be coming from the sphenopalatine foramen. It will be artery will come out from the sphenopalatine foramen and then supply the lateral wall by the branches. And there is one branch which is branch from the maxillary artery running along the posterior aspect of the perpendicular plate, and from there we get the branches from the greater palatine artery perpendicularly piercing the plate of the palatine bone and supplying the posterior inferior quadrant. So posterior superior quadrant, again it is supplied by the sphenopalatine artery, and the posterior inferior quadrant is again supplied by the greater palatine artery, but in the septum it was coming from the midline and then going backwards through the coming out from the incisive foramen. Here the branches of the greater palatine artery are piercing the perpendicular plate of the horizontal palatine bone. Okay, so that is about the arterial supply of the lateral wall. Venous drainage, same as it was in the septum. The one which is accompanying the anterior ethmoidal goes to the superior ophthalmic and the cavernous sinus. The anterior one goes to the facial vein, and the posterior half goes to the pterygoid venous plexus. That remains the same. Also the lymphatic drainage, the part anterior half of the lateral wall goes to the submandibular lymph nodes, and the posterior half goes to deep cervical lymph nodes and the retropharyngeal lymph nodes. That remains the same. So in arterial supply and venous drainage, there is generally, and the lymphatic drainage of the medial wall, that is the septum, and the lateral wall is almost the same. There is not much change as far as names are concerned. In nerve supply, again the antero-superior quadrant is supplied by the anterior ethmoidal nerve. The antero-inferior quadrant is supplied by the anterior superior alveolar nerve, like that of medial wall, that is the nasal septum. In the nasal septum I mentioned it as alveolar nerve, anterior alveolar nerve, but the real name is anterior superior alveolar nerve. On the posterior aspect, it is supplied by, instead of medial, the branches which is supplying from the pterygopalatine ganglion, instead of medial, it is lateral, because this is the lateral wall. So then the name changes is lateral posterior superior nasal nerve. Again it is a branch of pterygopalatine ganglion. On the lower inferior aspect, again there are nerves which will be piercing the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone and supplying the posterior inferior quadrant, and those nerves here, they are the anterior palatine nerves. Anterior palatine nerves, which are the branches from the pterygopalatine ganglion. So the only changes in the nerve supply is on the posterior half. In the posterior superior quadrant, instead of medial, it is the lateral posterior superior nasal nerve, and in the posterior inferior quadrant, it is the anterior palatine nerve. Again, both the nerves are the branches from the pterygopalatine ganglion, which you are going to learn in the upcoming lectures. So that is about the arterial supply, venous drainage, nerve supply and lymphatic drainage of the lateral wall of the nose. Now here, as there was a little area which was present in the antero-inferior quadrant of the nasal septum, Here in the posterior aspect, or you can say postero-inferior aspect of the nasal concha, inferior nasal concha, there is one plexus again. That plexus is called as Woodruff's plexus. It is present on the posterior aspect of the lateral wall of nose and behind the inferior nasal concha. The difference between this plexus and the Kayser's plexus is that the Kayser's plexus was the arterial plexus, but this one is the venous plexus, and the Little's area or the Kayser's plexus was the commonest site of nasal bleeding. This is not as common as that. This can bleed in case of severe hypertension, sudden rise in the blood pressure, or if there is direct nerve injury. Apart from that, yes, there are many other causes, but the commonest cause are the nasal injury there on the posterior aspect, or there is you can say the sudden rise in the blood pressure. So that is the difference between Woodruff's plexus and the Kayser-Beck's plexus. Now we come to the applied aspect, the remaining applied aspect of the entire nasal cavity. Okay, so coming to the applied aspect of the nasal cavity, already few we have covered, that is the epistaxis with respect to Little's area, the Woodruff's plexus, and the deviated nasal septum, which are one of the most common and very important applied aspect of the nasal cavity. The remaining one are, first is rhinitis, that is the inflammation of the mucosa of the nose that we commonly experience in the seasonal changes. That is we have nasal blockage, or sometimes we also have the nasal discharge. Now that nasal discharge is called as the rhinorrhea. And sometimes, if you remember, here in the upper part of the nasal cavity there is the cribriform plate. So that cribriform plate may get fractured in case of head injury sometimes. And in that case, the CSF from the cranial cavity can drain out from the nasal, outside from the nasal cavity. And that condition is called as CSF rhinorrhea. The normal sneezing which we have, or you can say watery discharge we have during the seasonal changes, that is the rhinorrhea. But in case of fracture of the anterior cranial fossa, then we can have the CSF rhinorrhea. There will be very thin watery discharge coming out continuously from the nasal cavity, that is called as the CSF rhinorrhea. And the method by which we can see the nasal cavity, by inserting either a scope or either help of mirror, that condition is called as, that procedure is called as rhinoscopy. Now it can be done by two ways, either anterior by entering a nasal speculum inside the nasal cavity and then seeing it with the light, or we can insert the mirror through the oral cavity up to the posterior aspect of the pharynx, and then we can see the posterior aspect of the nasal cavity. So that is the two types of the rhinoscopy, anterior rhinoscopy and the posterior rhinoscopy. In the posterior rhinoscopy, we will be able to see all the three conchas, all the three meatus's, the openings of the auditory tube, and the posterior part of the soft palate very clearly. Whereas in case of anterior one, we will be mainly able to see the middle and the inferior nasal concha, the floor of the nasal cavity, and also the superior, middle and the inferior meatus's of the nose. So that is the very remaining applied, that is the rhinitis, rhinorrhea and rhinoscopy. Here one thing which I have missed is in the upper part, roof of the lateral wall as well as the middle nasal septum, we have got the nerve supply by the spatial nerves, that is the olfactory nerves, which will be the spatial nerves for the smell sensation. And apart from that, there will be one Vidian nerve. Vidian nerve, or you can say the nerve of the pterygoid canal, which will be supplying the parasympathetic and the sympathetic aspect to the nasal cavity. The parasympathetic, the Vidian nerve is formed basically by the greater petrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve, and joining together they pass through the nerve pterygoid canal. That's why it is called as the nerve of pterygoid canal also, and then it gives branches to the nasal cavity. So the parasympathetic aspect is by the greater petrosal nerve and the sympathetic aspect is by the deep petrosal nerve, joining together to form a Vidian nerve. So that is all about the nose. The previous topics covered were the lateral wall and the nasal cavity, and today we have covered the nasal septum and the remaining part of the nasal cavity. Thank you.